Looking as they guzzle, who's the next to go?
Oh, don't worry, Miss Playthorn. I don't mind joking on a full stomach.
I must say I was hungry. But all the same, I should never fancy tin meat again.
I was wanting that meal. I feel a new man.
We've been nearly 24 hours without any food. It does lower the morale.
Somehow in the daylight, everything seems different.
We mustn't forget that there's a homicidal lunatic somewhere on this island.
Why is it? What doesn't feel jittery about it anymore?
Because we know now, beyond any shadow of a doubt, who it is, right, Blore?
That's right.
I said all along it was Dr. Armstrong.
You did, my sweet, you did. Until he went completely bad and suspected us all.
Seeing as it was Armstrong, what do you think's happened to her?
Well, we know what she wants us to think happened to her.
What exactly did you find?
One shoe. Just one shoe sitting prettily by the cliff's edge. Inference, Dr. Armstrong has gone completely off her onion and committed suicide.
All very circumstantial. Even to the 10 little soldiers over there on the mantelpiece.
That was rather overdoing it, in my opinion. A man wouldn't think of doing that if he was going to kill himself.
We're pretty sure she didn't kill herself. She just made it seem that way to fit the 7th victim of the rhyme.
Suppose she really is dead?
I'm a bit suspicious of death without bodies.
How extraordinary to think that there are 5 dead bodies in there we've been eating tin meat.
The delightful feminine disregard for the facts. There are 6 dead bodies, and they're not all here.
No. She's right. There are only 5.
About Mrs. Rogers.
I found her. She makes a fit.
Look here. Marston 1, Mrs. Rogers 2, Emily Brent 3, General Mackenzie 4, Mr. Rogers 5, Wargrave 6.
7, 8, 9.
Armstrong?
10!
Thanks.
Sorry, old man.
You think it would be an idea if we got Miss Brent's body and put her in the morgue too?
I'm a detective, not an undertaker.
For heaven's sake, stop talking about bodies. The point is Armstrong murdered them.
We should have known it was Armstrong from the beginning.
But how the devil did she get a hold of your revolver?
I've got no clue.
What exactly happened last night?
Well, after you threw a fit of hysterics and locked yourself in your room, me and Captain Lombard, well, we had a few drinks. And then we decided that we'd go to bed as well. So then we locked ourselves in our rooms.
About an hour later, I heard someone pass by my door. Went out to check who it was, and nobody was there. That's when I went to Blore's room. He was there. I tapped on Armstrong's door, and she was gone. That's when I went to your room, told you to sit tight, and then came downstairs. Saw that the balcony window was open. The revolver was sitting right next to it.
But why the devil should Armstrong just chuck that revolver away?
No clue. Either an accident or she's gone mad.
Who do you think she is?
Somewhere on the island, lurking, waiting to have a crack at one of us.
We have to search the house.
What, walk into an ambush?
Oh, never thought of that.
Are you sure you heard no one walking about after me and Flora went out?
Oh, I imagine all sorts of things. But nothing short of setting the house on fire would have gotten me to unlock my door.
See, just thoroughly suspicious.
What's the use of talking? What are we going to do?
You ask me, do nothing. Sit tight and take no risks.
But look here, I want to go after her.
What a dog or the bulldog breed you are, Blore. Say, between friends and without prejudice, you did go in for that spot of perjury, didn't you?
Well, I suppose it doesn't make any difference now. Lender was innocent, all right? The gang squared me away, and we put him away for the stretch. Mind, I wouldn't admit it now if it wasn't that.
You think we're all in the same boat?
Well, I couldn't admit it in front of Mr. Justice Wargrave, could I?
Oh, hardly.
I say that fellow Seaton. Do you think he was innocent after all?
Yeah, probably. Wargrave had to have had a reason for getting him out of the way. Well, Blore, I'm delighted you've come off your virtuous perch. I hope you made a tiny bit out of it.
Nothing what I ought to have done. They're a mean lot, that Benny gang. I got my promotion, though.
And Lender got penal servitude and died in jail.
I couldn't tell he was going to die, could I?
No, that was just your bad luck.
His, you mean?
Yours too. Because of that fact, your life may be cut unpleasantly short as well.
What, me? By Armstrong? I'll watch it.
You'll have to. Remember, there are only 3 soldier boys left.
Well, what about you?
Oh, I'll be fine. I've been in tight places before and I've gotten out of them. I intend on getting out of this one as well. Besides, I've got my revolver.
Now about the revolver. What's to prove you haven't had it the whole time?
Same old gramophone record. No room in your brain for more than one idea at a time, is there, Blore?
No, but it's a good idea.
And you're sticking to it.
And I would have thought of a better story than that if I were you.
Well, I had to think of something a policeman could understand.
What's wrong with the police?
Nothing now that you've left the force.
Look here, Captain Lombard. If you're an honest man,
Neither of us are honest,
if
Lord.
you're telling the truth, then why don't you chuck that revolver down there?
Don't be such an idiot.
I've said I'll go through the house looking for her. If I'm willing to do that, will you lend me that revolver?
No, it's my revolver and I'm sticking to it.
Then do you know what I'm beginning to think?
Oh, you're not beginning to think it, you square-headed flatty. You thought it last night, and now you come back to your original idea. I'm the one and only Mr. U.N. Unknown Owen. Is that it?
I won't contradict you.
Well, you think what you please, but I warn
Stop behaving like children!
Sorry, teacher.
Of course the unknown isn't Lombard. We know it's Armstrong. I have one very good proof of it.
Oh, what?
They know the rhyme. 4 little soldier boys going out to sea. A red herring swallowed one, and then there were 3. Don't you see the subtlety of it? A red herring. That's Armstrong's pretended suicide, but it's only pretended so she really isn't dead.
It's actually quite ingenious.
To my mind, it's absolute proof. You see, it's all mad because she's mad. She takes a queer, childish pleasure in sticking to the rhyme, making everything happen in that way. Dressing up the judge, killing Rogers when he was chopping sticks, getting Miss Brown the hyperdrive needle. She has to make it all fit in.
Yes, and then where do we go from there? 3 little soldier boys walking in a zoo. A big bear hugged one, and then there were 2. She's gonna have a job with that one. There's no zoo on this island. I say, Captain Lombard, what about a drink? Some beer.
Do stop thinking about your stomach for once, Blore. That craving for food and drink will be your undoing.
But there's more beer in the kitchen.
Yes, and if a homicidal lunatic wanted to get you out of the way...
Hey, what's that? It's a boat! It's a boat! Ah!
And then there were 2. A booby trap. A wire set from the door attached to something above.
Is he?
Yeah. Crushed. Head stove in. It was the bronze barrel with the clock from the landing.
A bear. Of course, this is awful childishness.
Blore was such a fool!
Now there are 2.
Now there are 2. We have to be careful now.
She can't do it. She's gonna get us. We have to get away from this island.
We can climb to the top of the island. It's a sheer cliff on the far side, and we can see if anyone approaches from the house.
Anything's better than staying here.
Would you be cold in that dress?
I'd be colder if I were dead.
Fair enough. A quick reconnaissance.
Be careful, Philip, please.
There's something washed up on the rocks.
What? It looks like a body.
You stay here. I'll go check it out.
Armstrong. It's Armstrong's body.
Armstrong's body, washed up at a high water mark.
So we're alone on the island.
Now we know where we are.
Now we know where we are.
It was a pretty trick of yours with that wire. Old Wargrave always knew you were dangerous.
Oh, you.
So it was you that killed that kid after all.
I didn't. That's why you're wrong. Please listen to me. Please believe me.
I'll listen. But you better make it a good story.
There is no story, it's the truth. I never killed that child, someone else did.
Who?
A man. Peter's uncle. I was in love with him.
This is interesting. Go on.
Don't sneer, it was hell. Absolute hell. Peter was born after his father's death. If he were a girl, he would have gotten everything.
The well-known tale of the wicked uncle.
Yes, he was wicked, and I didn't know. He said he was in love with me, but that he was too poor to marry. There was a rock fire that Peter always wanted to swim to. Of course I would have let him, it was dangerous. One day we were all on the beach, and I had forgotten something at the house, so I ran back to get it. When I came back, Peter was swimming out to the rock. I flew towards the beach, and Hugh tried to stop me. Don't be a fool, he said. I told the little brat he could do it.
And?
I pushed past him. He tried to stop me, but I plunged to the sea, and I swam after Peter. He gone before I could get to him.
Well, it's a pretty story. You certainly are an accomplished liar,
In
Vera.
case you believe the truth and you hear it.
Then who killed Blore? It wasn't me, and Armstrong is dead. I've broken most of the commandments in my time, but there's one thing that I won't stand for, and that's murder.
You won't stand for murder. What about those natives to die in Africa?
It's what's so funny. I
Oh,
didn't.
what do you mean?
For once in my life, just once, I risked my life to save the lives of my men, and I tried to play the hero. Left them my rifle, ammunition, and all the food that I had, and I made my way through the bush. By some luck it came off, but not in time to save the lives of my men. Word had got around that I deliberately abandoned them. That's life for you.
You think I believe that? You actually made it to the whole thing.
And I got such a kick out of watching their faces.
You can't fool with stupid lies.
Shut up!
Why can't I see in your face? It's there. It's been there all along.
You can't fool me any longer.
Get back!
Cunning little devil.
If you take one step nearer, I'll shoot.
You. Young, lovely, quite mad.
It's all come true. My 10 little soldiers plan.
It was you.
Silence in the court. If there's any more noise, I shall have the court clear. Don't be frightened. Don't be frightened. It's the court of justice. You'll get justice here. You thought I was a ghost. You thought I was dead. Armstrong said I was dead. That was the clever part of my plan. Said we'd trap the murderer. We'd fix up my supposed death, and I'd be free to spy on the guilty party. She came out that night to meet me by the cliff without any suspicion. Sent her with a push so easily. She swallowed my red herring all right. You know Vera Claythorne. All my life, I wanted to take life. Yes, to take life. Tried to get what enjoyment I could out of sentencing the guilty to death. It wasn't enough. I wanted to do it myself, with my own hands. But I am a judge of the High Court. I have got a sense of justice, as between our sovereign lord the king and the prisoner at the bar will true deliverance make guilty, my lord, yes, guilty. You're all guilty, you know. The law couldn't touch you, so I had to take the law into my own hands. I needed a 10th victim. I found her in a woman named Narracott. She was a shady little creature, and amongst other things, she was a dope peddler. She was responsible for, inducing the daughters of friends of mine to take drugs. The daughters committed suicide at the ages of 21 and 22. And now to the actual mechanics of the crime of Soldier Island. Using Narracott to acquire the island and cover my tracks was easy enough. She was an expert in that sort of thing. Tabulating the information I had collected about my prospective victims, I was able to concoct a suitable bait for each. None of my plans miscarried. All my guests arrived on Soldier Island on August the 8th. Party included myself. Narracott was already accounted for. Before leaving London, I had given her a capsule for her stomach indigestion. I had said it had done wonders for my own gastric juices. Well, the woman was a slight hypochondriac. I had no fear she would leave any compromising documents or memoranda behind. She was just not that sort of person. Anthony Marston first, Mrs. Rogers second, Barbatone in the brain, Mackenzie stabbed. Got Rogers with an axe while he was chopping sticks. Doped Emily Brent's copy so she couldn't feel the hypodermic. Booby trapper Bloor. Bloor was a fool. I always knew it was going to be easy to get Bloor. Returning that revolver was a clever touch. Made the end interesting. I knew you two would suspect each other in the end. The question was, who'd win out? Banked on you, my dear. Female of the species. Besides, it was more exciting to have a girl at the end. Prisoner at the bar, have you anything to say why your sentence should not be passed upon you? Very well. Vera Elizabeth Claythorne, I condemn you to death!
I'm not guilty! I'm not guilty!
Ah, they all say that. Must plead not guilty. Unless, of course, you're going all out for a verdict of insanity. But you're not mad. I'm mad. But you're not.
I am innocent. I never killed that child, never wanted to. You're a judge. You know when someone's guilty when they're innocent? I swear I'm telling the truth.
Very interesting. She didn't kill that child after all. Well, I guess it doesn't matter much now, does it? My 10 little soldiers plan. You're the last soldier boy. One little soldier boy left all alone. He wanted to hang himself.
No!
I must have my hang! I must have
Are you okay?
All right,
I'm
all
sorry,
right.
I shot you.
It's not good enough.
I'm never going to forget this.
Oh yes, you will. There's an alternate ending to that Soldier Boy's rhyme, you know. One little soldier boy left all alone. We got married, and then there were none.
Oh.